Peace. What's the word, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tune on in and tap in before I start building on the subject matter for the day. Hopefully, y'all having a powerful Wednesday, and hopefully, y'all got about an hour or so to listen to what it is I have to say about this particular subject matter. Man, we talking about anger, man. A lot of black men, a lot of black women, a lot of people in general deal with anger issues, man. Like a lot of people, this is under the radar. It's one of those under the radar conditions that a lot of us struggle with, anger management. So hopefully y'all got a little time to build, chop it up with the kid in regards to like anger management, just having anger issues, temper issues, and things along those lines. Khalil, peace, my brother. What's happening? Miss Donnie, peace, Queen. What's happening? What's the word? How y'all living? How y'all feeling? Miss Donnie, for sure, man. I'm excited to build, man, because this is one of those topics that definitely is relevant for me, man. I've always dealt with just temper issues, man. Y'all know how it is sometimes growing up when you have a certain nature. A lot of people test you, you know what I'm saying? I'm always one of the smallest ones in the room, so I got tested off of the strength of that. So that led to a lot of just temper issues, man, just being hot-headed, ready to pop off all the time because I always feel like somebody is testing me and things along those lines. So you develop that type of energy early on in life, and it's hard to shake it. It's hard to shake it. When you develop habits early on in life, man, and you grow with those habits, man, those habits are hard to shake. Those habits are hard to shake. And people would be lying if they say, nah, it's easy to shake them. Nah, when you didn't when you done had some of these issues, since as long as you can remember, they not that easy to shake. Not that easy to shake. Nick, peace, what's happening? What's the word? Barking Wolf, peace, what's happening? Justin, peace, what's the word? Doggone, peace, what's happening? Yeah, Miss Donnie, for sure. Yeah, when them childhood traumas are not resolved, that makes the anger 20 times worse. 20 times worse when they are unresolved. 20 times worse, man. A lot of people don't understand it. Like, we talk about it. Say peace, what's happening, Queen? A lot of us, we talk about it. See, this is the thing that I'm starting to understand and learn about people. We talk about it. We talk too much. We talk a lot, but we don't really understand what it is that we actually saying. We don't understand the magnitude behind the words that we are speaking. So a lot of us, we talk about certain concepts, but we don't really understand the concepts fully. So a lot of us talk about the power of the word, the power of the spoken word, the power of the tongue, the power of the thoughts and things of that nature. A lot of people talk about these concepts, but how many people truly understand these concepts? How many people truly practice what it is that they teach in regards to those concepts? Not many people. So a lot of us, we talk about how we understand, or how we know about the power of our words, but very few actually practice it. Very few of us actually are mindful in regards to the words that we speak. Very few. Shayna Peace, what's happening, Queen? What's the word? Very few of us are actually mindful in regards to the words that we speak, in regards to the thoughts that we think. Very few. But a lot of us, we know, we talk about the power of the thoughts and the power of the words, man. But a lot of us do not put that into practice. And I'm here to help people put those things into practice, man. We got to stop talking about it. We got to stop talking about not letting our emotions dictate our ways and actions, not letting our emotions dictate our words and things along those lines. And we got to start putting these things into motion. That's wisdom. So at some point, you got to go from the stage of knowledge to wisdom. Then that's how you gain an understanding when you start putting things into motion. So at some point, you got to stop talking about it and you just got to live it out. Justin, for sure. And that's making it a consistent habit is living it out. Bruce Lee talked about it, man. Effortless effort. You know what I'm saying? When things like that become second nature, like brushing your teeth, man, you don't have to think about it. It's unconscious. That's what we are. That's what we need to strive for in regards to just being better, man. Being better. Like, we got to stop fighting with it. We got to stop trying. You know what I'm saying? We got to really stop trying. We just got to start doing and being. Like, it's really just that simple, man. We got to stop trying and just start doing and being. It's not going to be perfect, man. It's not going to be perfect. And a lot of times that's what people expect for it to be perfect. Like, y'all heard me talking about nutrition in my last stream yesterday. A lot of times the reason why people initially adopt a healthier lifestyle, then go back to the toxic lifestyles because they expecting perfection. So when somebody was eating a lot of toxic foods 30 years, then they transition to a plant-based lifestyle and they don't feel good immediately, or they don't see instant results, then they just write it off like, well, this lifestyle ain't for me. Man, we gotta learn patience, man. Gotta be patient. Gotta be patient, man. We too quick to write things off, man, because we don't embrace patience, man. We don't embrace time. Like, it takes time. It takes time for you to break habits, man. It takes time. It takes time, and you cannot expect perfection, man. Cannot expect perfection. You going vegan overnight, then you looking at the back of a product that you consumed and you found out that it got dairy in it, and now you think it's the end of the world, and now you think you need to revert back to eating meat and eating dairy. Like, no, no, man, you just took an L. Now you bounce back immediately. You live and you learn, but we always expect perfection. We think we about to wake up overnight, we about to change our habits, and we never gonna revert back to the old habits. See, that's part of the problem. You're too hard on yourself. Too hard on yourself, man. If you'd have been carrying a bad habit for 30 plus years, man, listen, you're gonna revert back to that habit, even when you striving to change, even when you striving to be better. If you deal with anger, if you deal with temper issues, you have temper issues and you deal with anger, and you've been dealing with it for 30 plus years, and you striving to change and you striving to be better, listen, you're gonna revert back. You're gonna revert back to that old you. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You gotta embrace that, you gotta accept that. As long as it don't happen on a consistent basis, and as long as you are conscious about it when it happens, and you strive to do something about it so that it won't happen the next time. That's all it's about. That's all it's about. Evan, peace, what's the word? What's the word? Consul, peace, create strategy, peace. Zoe, peace, what's the word? So we got to stop expecting like perfection, man. When you striving to change, when you just striving to be better and do better, listen, man, you're going to go back to them old habits. You're going to go back to them old ways. It's part of the process. Part of the process. You're not just going to instantly change overnight. Then there you go. You never going to revert back to that old you, that old self, those old habits, them old ways. It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen when you transition into that healthier regimen. Guess what? You're going to have moments where you relapse and you eat some food that you wasn't supposed to eat. But guess what? It's not the end of the world. I'd rather you go 30 days eating clean than you slip up on the 31st day opposed to 30 days all trash. That's the type of perspective that you got to have, man. If you was eating trash every day, all day, and then you went 30 days clean, and then next thing you know, on the 31st day, then you messed around and had some food you wasn't supposed to eat, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world, man. It is not the end of the world. That's not going to kill you, especially considering the fact of where you came from. So we got to understand that, man. We got to understand those simple truths, man. Like if you dealing with depression or you dealing with anger and you just trying to observe and examine your thought pattern and your thought process and all of that good stuff, man, if you didn't went 15 days and you ain't have any depressed feeling, no negative energy, and then on the 16th day, all of a sudden you feeling depressed, you feeling negative, you feeling down, man, embrace that. Don't run from it. Don't act like it's the end of the world and then your depression is here to stay again. If you was depressed and feeling down every day and you just went 15 days with no depressing thought, that's good. That's progress, man. Even if you went 10 days, that beats every day that you was feeling depressed and down and negative. So if you able to go 5-10 days, no depressing thoughts, no negative thoughts, none of that. Come on, man. Applaud that victory. Small victories matter, man. We always want the large victory, man. We got to learn to embrace those smaller victories. Got to learn to embrace those, man. Those daily victories. We want those large victories, man. You got to embrace them small joints, man. You got to embrace the small joints because the small joints, that's going to lead to the larger victories, man. That's how I go. That's how it's supposed to go. But we overlook the smaller victories. We take them for granted. We take those smaller victories for granted, man. We take them for granted big time. And in relation to this subject matter, sometimes we take the people around us for granted as well. I know I'm not the only one, man. I done lashed out of sheer just anger. and said some things to people. I'm talking about, this goes back to childhood. Like, I've always been dealing with it, working on it, of course, work in progress. Aren't we all? But I know I'm not the only one that said some things to some people that you regret, and then you were not even you were not even able to apologize because you done said something to a person that you regret, and that was the last thing you said to that person, because then they ended up passing or dying. I know I'm not the only one that dealt with that. I dealt with that as a youngin', man. I'd never forget it. I'd never forget it, man. I was hot-headed, man. I was probably like 7, 8. I can't even remember. But I was in the single digits, man. And I lashed out on an older lady, man. I just let her have it for no reason. She told me to do something, and I didn't like what she told me to do. Lashed out on her, man. And next thing you know, we gone. You know, I was in Mississippi, so next thing you know, she was in a car accident. Boom, didn't make it. So it's like, you got to live with that. Even considering the fact that I was young, but the fact that that still resonates with me to this day. You don't forget stuff like that. You don't forget stuff like that. Like, you got to live with that, man. You said some things out of anger, even as a young child, and then the next thing you know, that person that you said it to, they ain't here no more. So you hear a lot of people say that, but how many people actually got to live with that type of reality? That is not a pleasant reality to live with. That's why I always say, be mindful of the things that you say. Be mindful. Because you never know, man. You never know how what you say can hurt the next. You never know, man. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people are going through. And I made a Facebook status today that told that it inspired people to read between the smiles. So a lot of times the people that smile the most are the ones that's hurt the most. And the person that's smiling constantly throughout the day may be one bad situation from jumping off of a cliff. So you never know, man. And your negative words might be the push they need to go ahead and jump off that cliff. You never know. So that's why you got to always be mindful, man. Always be mindful of the words that you speak. I know I don't really too much care for people, man, but I know I deal with the law of reciprocity. So I try to dish out what I want to receive. You know, so I'm not trying to dish out hostile energy. I'm not trying to dish out angry energy because I don't want to receive it. So I'm trying to be way more mindful of the energy that I dish out, man, because again, I like to receive pleasant energy. I like to receive powerful and positive energy. That's the type of energy that I like to receive. But if we out here just thinking negatively all the time, thinking destructive thoughts, speaking destructive words, all of that, and we wonder why that is coming back around to us, man, because that's the law of reciprocity. And that's one of the laws that I can subscribe to being a reality. You definitely receive what it is that you dish out. You definitely receive it. You definitely receive it, man. So again, like I said, I'm always mindful in regards to my speech. At least I try to be. I try to be, man. When I'm not dealing with, you know what I'm saying? When I'm not dealing with the temper issues, which I have got a way better grip on that issue than I did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, much better grip on it. But when I'm not dealing with anything like that, man, I'm very mindful, man, because you don't know what people going through, man. It's people out here going through some things that when they reveal their problems to you, you thankful for your problems. You like, man, I could be in your shoes right now. You got it way worse than I got it. And I was sitting here complaining about what? Forgot what I was complaining about, man. I didn't have conversations with people like hours after I was complaining about something small. When I had a conversation with them, I forgot what it is that I was complaining about or what it was that I was complaining about. I'm like, hey, man, they just hit me with the whammy. I forgot what it was that I was complaining about because it was that small. Y'all ever been in a situation like that, man? You chopped it up with somebody and next thing you know, like you was complaining about something earlier, next thing you know, you forgot about your problems because they were so small in comparison to the person that just laid some heavy some heavy problems on you. Father Jah, peace, peace. Most definitely power refinement. You already know with the math. Already know. Beautiful goddess keys. Peace, queen. What's happening? Naya's peace. What's the word? Miss Donnie, there you go. Pat yourselves on the back, man. And I'm always striving to encourage people, you know what I'm saying, to do that, man. Because again, like I said, there's people going through some things in life. And a lot of them people that's going through these things are smiling. Don't let that smile fool you, man. A lot of the people that's going through the roughest things in life are smiling. and they trying to use that smile to kind of mask how they truly feeling, and it really ain't working. It's really not working. You can smile all day long, man. If you suppressing those negative feelings, man, if you suppressing those negative emotions, it's gonna eat you alive. It's gonna eat you alive every time, man. No matter how much you smile, no matter how often you smile, you suppressing those negative feelings, you suppressing that negative energy, all that trauma, and you're not dealing with it. That smile is not doing anything. You're not tricking yourself. You're not tricking yourself, man. You suppressed all that energy. You suppressed all those emotions, feelings, and traumas. You're not tricking yourself by smiling. It's not happening. It's not happening. If anything, you're just making yourself more unhealthier because now you're striving to lie to yourself. Now you're striving to force yourself to feel a certain way that you really not feeling, or feel a way that you really not feeling. Only thing met with force is what? Resistance. So now you're trying to apply that to the body. You trying to force the body to smile. You trying to force the body to feel a certain way, and it don't even want to do that because you done suppressed all these feelings and emotions that it need for you to address. And we wonder why we suffer. We wonder why we suffer. You suppressing, you burying all these emotions and these traumas, and you trying to force the body to smile. You say, oh, everything is okay, when it's not, because you are running from your problems. You leaving these problems unresolved. You got to resolve these problems in order for it to be okay, in order for your health to be activated. But you trying to tell the body, you trying to convince the mind that everything is okay, although we not going to deal with this trauma that I'm burying. But you trying to convince the mind that it's okay. It's not. That causes conflict. That causes confusion and tension. That causes disease. That causes imbalance. You striving to convince the mind and body that everything is okay when it knows that it's not. The body and mind is like, no, man, you got this trauma that you keep suppressing, that you're not dealing with. It's not okay. What are you talking about? You got to deal with this before everything is okay. You can smile all day long, but this trauma is still right here. It's still inside of you. Still inside of you, just like the people that try to drink alcohol to run away from their problems, man. Again, when you sober up, guess what? Guess what? You didn't drink, you didn't did all this drinking on the weekend because you tired of this stressful job. Well, guess what? When you sober up and Monday come back around, guess what's still there? That job. It's still there. Whatever situation it is that you're trying to run from, without you dealing with it, guess what? When you sober up, when you start running, the situation is still there, right behind you, is right in front of you, wherever it want to be. It's there. Hasn't went anywhere because you failed to address it. You failed to face it. You failed to even attempt to solve it. It's going to be right there every time. When you come back down to earth, you doing all this smoking. When you come back down to earth, guess what? Whatever it was you was trying to escape from is right back. It's there, right there, staring at your face, waiting for you to come back down to earth, waiting for you to sober up, waiting for you to turn the music off, waiting for you to turn the TV off, waiting for you to close the book. It's going to be staring right in your face. Stop distracting yourself, man. The only way to deal with these issues and resolve these conflicts and control and master these emotions, to face them. That's what they tell you. The way to conquer your fears, to face it. So we got to stop distracting ourselves, man. You got to sit in that silence. Sit in that silence, just you and those thoughts, all that trauma, all of those feelings and emotions. Silence. I'm talking no music, no laptop, no iPad, no book, no nothing. No other person, just you. You alone with you. That is when you get to the bottom of these issues. That is when you start resolving these conflicts. That's when you start mastering and controlling these emotions. That's when you regain control of your life. But we too big on distractions, man. We always got to surround ourselves with chatter, with noise, gossip, all of that. We running, man. We got to stop running from ourselves, man. We're not going to master our emotions. We're not going to master our energy. We're not going to master ourselves if we keep running. We running. And we're not even going anywhere. It's like we running on that treadmill. Steady state cardio. So we not even running in the sense of we going somewhere while we running. We on a treadmill. We in the same spot. We running hard, but we ain't really progressing. So we doing all this running, but we really not progressing. We not going any further. We stand in the same spot, doing all this running, staying in the same spot, not even progressing. So that's steady state. That's what steady state cardio is, and that's what we doing. That's what we doing, man. We got to stop running, man. We got to stop running because we dealing with too much as a people, man. We dealing with too much in regards to the mental health department. Like I said, anger, depression, all of that type of stuff is big in the black community. A lot of us suffer from all of these issues, man. Again, you're born black in America, and if you have any type of knowledge of self, like for the most part, you're gonna deal with a lot of frustration. You're gonna deal with a lot of anger, man, because society gonna let you down. You trying to function in society, and you a black man, black woman with knowledge of self, man, you about to interact with a lot of foolishness. So by default, that's gonna activate a lot of frustration, depression, just anger. It's gonna happen when you come into enlightenment, things along those lines, and you the only one in your circle. You're the only one in your family that came across this enlightenment. Like it's what they say is lonely at the top. Sometimes it's lonely with the enlightenment. So now you got to learn the art and science of detachment. Well, when you didn't been attached to family and people and concepts and ideas for so long, that's a hard concept to put into motion at first. But that's what we got to learn to do. That's what we got to learn to do, man. So it could be a lonely journey, man, when you are hungry for knowledge, enlightenment, for wisdom, and a lot of people around you are not, because we are, let's face it, the minority. There will never be a time on this planet where the majority is hungry for enlightenment. Even if we regain our position, it still would be the same, because even if you trace history back to when we were on top, you still had the hierarchy. You still had a certain group of people that were really hungry for enlightenment, that were willing to go through the process that you had to go through to gain the enlightenment. So you had this everywhere you go in every era. So it will always be a very small percentage of people that's thirsty for the enlightenment, that's striving to attain the enlightenment. So you're going to always be the black sheep. You're going to always be the minority. You're going to always be the chosen few. It's never going to be a lot of us, man. And that's the reality that we have to accept. When you come across a certain way of life, man, you're going to always be the minority. It's never going to be a lot of us. We always going to be spread out. Always going to be spread out. That's how it's always going to be. And that's stuff that you got to be willing to accept it when you walk in this way of life, man. When you live in this way of life, you got to be willing to accept that fact and that reality. It's a harsh reality, but it is what it is. When you somebody such as myself, you choose to go vegan, man, you gonna be the minority. When you go into places, when you go into functions, it ain't gonna be 20 vegans in there. If we go into a function, it's a family function or whatever the function may be, and you showing up for whatever reason you have to show up, and it's 100 people there, you might be the only vegan. It might be 2 or 3 of y'all in there. Might be, but you might be the only one 9 times out of 10. 90% of the time, you're going to be solo dolo. 90% of the time, you're going to be the only one that's really about the enlightenment, the empowerment of the people. I'm not talking about just talking about it, but actually being about it. You're going to be a chosen few. People ain't going to want to see you come around because they feel like they already know what you about to start talking about. Oh, here he or she go with this black knowledge, with this health information, this, that, and the third. They don't even want to see you coming because you about to start holding people accountable. You about to start coming with solutions. They don't even want to see you coming. That's always going to be your reality when you accept the fact that you are thirsty for the enlightenment, thirsty for the knowledge, thirsty for the wisdom, and you won't let anything impede your journey. When you accept that reality, those are things that you just got to accept. It's always going to be a select few. When you going out to functions, when you going anywhere, man, it is not going to be a lot of you, man. So if you force to go out here and mingle with people, 9 out of the 10 people you're going to come across going to have a very different perspective than you. And I'm talking very different. Like, we all have different perspectives, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Those of us that seek the enlightenment, we have a very different perspective, like a very different than the average person, to the point where they looking at you like, what are you even talking about half the time? What they say, the truth is stranger than fiction. So a lot of times when you hit people with how you really feel and what you really think about something, they looking at you like, whoa, that's left field. That's the truth hitting them. That's the truth hitting them, man, because the truth, like we said, stranger than fiction. So sometimes that's how I know when I done said something that's truthful, when it's not being received well. That's how you know, all right, it must be some truth to this. Because if I'm getting a lot of backlash for what I'm saying, obviously it's got to be some truth behind what's really going on, what I'm really saying. So we got to understand that, man. But let me do the knowledge to some of y'all comments, man. I just had to do some venting real quick, man. Y'all know how I go. Let me see what y'all talking about. Yeah, Justin, and it's a thin line between biting the tongue and just learning how to express ourselves without the anger. Because biting my tongue actually makes it worse. It makes me more upset because I wanted to say something and I didn't. So now I'm just learning how to express myself and let them know how I truly feel without it being so hostile, without it being so angry. But biting the tongue, it really never helps me. Yeah, biting the tongue only makes the anger worse. So it's like, all right, I can't bite my tongue, but I got to express myself, but I don't want to lash out in anger. So I got to learn how to communicate without being hostile, without being angry with the person, man. So that's what we got to learn to do if you're dealing with anger, if you're dealing with that hostile energy, dealing with that negative energy, and you are interacting with a person that you have a problem with. We got to learn how to interact with said individual without lashing out. It's complicated, but it's doable. It's doable. It's very doable. But biting the tongue, we can't do that. Because biting the tongue is part of the problem. It causes us to suppress our feelings once again, even further. So we never can bite our tongues, man. Never do that. We got to just learn how to effectively communicate without lashing out. That's what we got to do. So I think it was Elijah Muhammad. Somebody said, think like 6 or 7 times before you speak. I think when I tend to do that, that helps. When I just think, just stop. Like sometimes when we have an interaction, like we just so ready to respond. Like when you fully listening to the other person, like your response is going to take some time. So a lot of times you can tell when somebody is truly listening by how fast they respond after the person is done talking. Like if they didn't give it time to resonate and marinate, then they really wasn't listening. If somebody is truly listening to you, man, then when you are done, they gonna sit on it for maybe a few seconds, maybe even a minute, and they gonna let everything just marinate, process, and just resonate, and then they gonna give you a proper response. So I feel that when I do that, when I wait to respond, that minimizes the anger. Like that decreases the anger and frustration because I'm letting things process. I'm understanding the situation, especially if it's like an argument. You know what I'm saying? If you arguing with somebody and they coming at you in a negative way and you don't instantly respond, you're gonna be able to process it like, all right, such and such is angry. They just speaking out of anger. So that's gonna help you respond, opposed to just boom, instantly respond as soon as they say something you don't like. So you just got to give it time. Like when somebody is done talking, just think about what's being said. Just fully process it. A lot of times people think that makes you seem slow, things of that nature. Forget all of that. We mastering the emotions. We mastering the feelings. We in control. We not allowing the emotions to be in control. So somebody talking to me when they done, letting it process. Then I got a response for you. A lot of people don't do that, man. They just instantly responding because they heard one thing that they didn't necessarily like, or they heard one thing that they wanted to give you a pointer on, and now they just so focused on that they cannot wait till you finish so they can hit you with the suggestion that you may not even need. Man, let everything process, man. Just listen. Just listen. Then when they done, ask them are they done, and then let it process. Then give them a response. More time you have to think, like the more mindful that response is going to be. Lindell, peace. What's happening? Miss Donnie, I remember that show was actually pretty cool. Greenleaf though, but yeah, I remember that. That was crazy. Like they straight was speaking death on dude name. They did a lot of that on these shows, man. But yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Justin. Yeah, there you go. You said they can say something in their ignorance that will trigger me. And see, and that's the point right there. That's where you stop right there. Justin, right there. You say they can say something in their ignorance. So when you like think about what you said, you just acknowledge that the person is ignorant. Once you acknowledge that, then that right there should ease the response, because now you know you're dealing with an ignorant person. You know you dealing with an ignorant person. And that's what I mean by letting stuff process. So once you allow them to talk and then they finish and you realize, man, I'm just dealing with an ignorant person, then you were like, all right, cool, this is simple. That person is ignorant, so I'm not about to stoop down to their level. Like literally, I'm not. Like I know and I understand that this person is ignorant, so I'm not about to give them what they looking for. I'm not about to give them what they looking for at all. So when you allow that to process, then you're gonna come to the conclusion that this person is ignorant, and you're not gonna be pressed to entertain this person because you know what you're dealing with. You know and understand the quality of the person that you're dealing with, and the quality of the person that you're dealing with is ignorant. So it's like, all right, I ain't even gonna really waste time because I'm dealing with an ignorant person. They not trying to see where I'm coming from. They not trying to understand where I'm coming from. They're ignorant. So it's like this conversation is not about to last long. And that's what stems from letting things process. You start understanding who you dealing with. It's like, all right, this person is ignorant to my perspective. They ignorant to me as a person. Like they don't know what they talking about, and it's obvious. So again, now I know what I'm dealing with. I'm not even really taking this personal because you just ignorant. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. You don't know. I know the truth. So if you saying something that is not true in regards to me and I know the truth, not really worried about it. You ignorant, you don't know, and there's not much I'm finna say to you right now that's going to convince you and convert you over to this truth. So it is what it is. I'm gonna let you live in that reality and I'm gonna go on about my life because I value my peace, I value my health. I'm not about to sit here and go back and forth with an ignorant fool. That's just gonna make me an ignorant fool. That's all it's gonna make me. That's all that is going to result in is me becoming an ignorant fool, just like this person. Lindell. It's a book out here that talks about righteous rage. See, a lot of people don't think those words correlate. Righteous rage. See, and that's what we mean by channeling that energy in the proper direction. But most of the time, especially, I'm gonna be honest with you, well, ain't even just black men now, like everything in reverse. So black women too. But a lot of time that rage, like we direct that type of energy to wrong people. Hence why you have what people consider black on black crime and things along those lines, which is really a crime via proximity. Of course, we gonna commit crimes on the people that we are closest to. That is why that happens. Just like when you have white people and they living amongst each other, when they are going to commit a crime, they are more than likely to commit the crime on one another because it's proximity. But a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people just think we the only ones out here killing each other and we don't like each other. We don't like ourselves. Man, it's proximity. You got a lot of struggling people. You got a lot of people struggling to survive. They trying to eat, trying to feed the fam. Again, we didn't already did the knowledge of projects. So then when they develop this killer mentality, they about to kill, they about to shoot, kill, and harm the people that's closest to them because that's who they can reach. You know, so again, righteous rage. I forgot the book that was in. Once I find the book, I will let y'all know, man. But that concept involves us just learning how to channel that energy in proper directions instead of channeling that energy against one another and against ourselves, which you know is self-hatred, because the self-hatred leads to all this other crime and all this murder and all this type of stuff that's going on amongst black people. So when we take that rage, that anger, that frustration, and we learn to channel it in proper directions, it's all good. We all good to roll. We good to roll because that energy can be useful, but most of the time it becomes destructive simply because we channel that energy on the wrong people. We take it out on the people that are not the actual enemy. You mad at corporate America, but you took out your frustration on your spouse, on your partner, on your girlfriend. You mad at this job, like this job is the one that's mistreating you. This job is the reason why you upset, but you take it out on your wife and kids. We got to learn to channel that energy to take down these corporations because that's who we mad with. But we allow these corporations to punk us, make us mad, then we come out and we take it out on wife and kids because we too afraid to bang on these corporations. So now that's misplaced hatred, misplaced rage, all of that. We taking that out on the wrong people. And now we got a wife and we got kids that's dead because corporate America made us mad, but we was afraid to bang on them. We was afraid to say how we really felt to them, and we took it out on wife and kids. That's what ends up happening. So we just got to learn to channel this energy in proper directions, man. That's what we literally have to do. Literally, man, because it's killing us. And then when it kills us, it kills the people around us. It kills the people closest to us. That's proximity. Proximity. Michelle, peace queen, what's happening? Infinite Charms, peace queen, what's the word? Armand, peace. And Justin, man, I'm telling you, if I didn't have this business, which I'm even still planning on doing this once I get like a few more clients, man, but fasting from things like, see, people don't understand when people hear about fasting, they just think about refraining from like food. But man, like fasting from social media. And you know, I mainly, when I say social media, mainly it's like Facebook for me. Like Facebook is mainly where I come across a lot of the nonsense. YouTube, man, a little bit more in control, man. I just type in what it is that I want to see. It's a lot of positivity on YouTube when you just search for it, you know. So YouTube ain't really a problem. Because I could just scroll right, man. But Facebook is just like you just instantly see the negativity as soon as you get on that joint. You know, and I'm really only active on Facebook like that. Like Instagram, I don't be on there that often. But when I'm fasting from social media, it's mainly Facebook. It's mainly Facebook. And it's just a lot of negativity, man. A lot of negativity, man. But to fast from like social media and detox from things like Facebook, powerful, man. Even fasting from like negative music, negative, like if you're watching TV, like negative TV shows, just negative videos on YouTube, like fasting from all of that type of stuff, man, is powerful. You know what I'm saying? You go on a week and say, man, I'm just gonna listen to positive music with a message. I'm just gonna watch positive things on the TV, on the iPad, on my laptop, on my phone, whatever the case may be. I'm only watching things that's positive. Like to do stuff like that is very powerful. A lot of people don't be understanding that, man, but that's very powerful. Sick, you say every time I make an honest choice, I have a horrible day that sucks me right back in. Internalizing anger is a problem I've had since a child. And hey, say I'm telling you, I can relate to that. I can relate to what you just said. And I'm gonna tell you why that happens. I'm gonna tell you exactly why that happens to you. I figured I came up with a theory. Man. I came up with a theory because I know we're not the only ones that deal with it. You know what I'm saying? When you striving to change, when you striving to evolve, it seemed like the moment you make that decision, it seemed like all problems come your way. I know I'm not the only person. I know we not the only two. Me and Sick, I know we not the only ones that didn't experience that. It's like the day you wake up and say, today I'm about to be a different person. I'm tired of being the same person that was struck, that was dealing with all the anger and the depression. Today is a new me. I'm changing. I'm done. I'm sick of that old me. It's like the moment the day you wake up, make that decision, it's like every problem that you can imagine comes your way right when you make that decision. That is typically how it goes. And I came up with a theory. I started to think about it. I was like, man, why does it seem like every time I make that decision consciously to become a better person, the whole world, like all the problems, all negativity comes my way? And I thought about the way of the world. I was like, okay, cool. I'm analyzing. I said, man, we live in a sick, toxic, negative, chaotic world. So that's the momentum of the world today. And when you are caught up in that, when you are one with all of that, when you are negative, when you are chaotic, when you are toxic, you one with the world. So you're not going against the grain. So you're not really paying attention to all the negativity because you are one with it. You are a part of that. You part of the problem. The day you wake up and you say, you know what, I'm tired of being part of the problem, I'm about to go against the grain, is the day it's almost like you levitate. It's like now you looking down on everything. You able to see it clearly. You able to see the momentum of the world is negative, it's chaotic, it's destructive, it's toxic, all of that bad stuff. The moment you wake up and you open your eyes and say, I'm tired of being that, I'm about to go against the grain. The reason why you are coming across those problems is because now you have opened your eyes. You realize that you are a part of the problem, and now you saying, all right, I'm about to change. I'm sick of being part of that world. Now you going against the grain. The momentum of the world is negative. It's toxic. So when you decide to be positive, when you decide to be powerful, now you going against the momentum. Boom. That's why all those problems hit you. Those problems was hitting you before. You just was negative. You just was caught up in it. You was one with it. So you wasn't really paying attention to it. You start paying attention. You start paying more attention to all of this when you say, I'm about to change. But you was getting hit with the same problems. You was just a negative person. You was just pessimistic, whatever the case may be. But the moment you say, I'm tired of being that, it's like now everything is standing out because now you have decided to change. So now it's like you seeing more clearly now, because now you are really truly going against the momentum of the world. You're going against the tide. You're going against the grain. When you go against the grain, you got to fight. You got to fight. If the whole world, if the momentum of the world is negative and you striving to be positive, you literally going against the world. It's literally you against the world. So the day you wake up and say, I'm about to be more positive, you going against that negative flow. You going against that negative momentum. And that negative momentum is real. But when you part of that momentum, you ain't paying attention to all the problems and the negativity because you flowing with it. But when you decide to be positive, you going right against it. So you finna get hit with all problems. It's almost like when you get a new car. And as soon as you get the car, it's like all of a sudden you start seeing more people, you start seeing more of your car out here. Now the car, these people have been had this car, but you just started paying more attention to it when you got the car. So it seems as if everybody got the car when you got it. But that's not the case. They've been out here. This car been out here. People been driving this car. You just paying more attention to it. That's how I explained just waking up, striving to be a more positive person or a better person, and it seemed like all the problems hit you. Because now it's like now you are openly declaring or overtly declaring that you're going against the grain. So now you're about to pay more attention to all the negativity. Or mind you say, do you feel that insecurity is the root to a lot of our anger issues? Do we need to work on building self-confidence first? Oh, for sure. Most definitely. Most definitely. I can say insecurity stems from, and I guarantee you, if we work on the self-esteem and the self-confidence, then we wouldn't be dealing with a lot of the anger. Now, sometimes it's insecurity, and then sometimes it's not. Sometimes we just went through some rough things in our childhoods, and it caused trauma, and that's literally why we dealing with the anger and the frustration. But sometimes it can stem from the insecurity and a lack of confidence and self-esteem. So that's always a good starting point to work on building the confidence and the self-esteem. Like I said, for somebody such as myself, man, always being like one of the smallest people in the room, I got tested off of the strength of that. So you can call it an insecurity, but it was an insecurity for the other people that always felt the need to test the little guy. I just simply was having to defend myself, and I kind of got tired of it. You know what I'm saying? So that just led to these anger issues. It's like, dude, why is everybody trying to test me because they feel like they can get one up on me? So I felt like they was testing me based off of an insecurity for them. So I had to defend myself, let them know, you know what I'm saying, this is not that. But that led to just being angry. Like, man, I'm tired of y'all. I don't fool with people, and I feel like y'all all trying to test me. You know, so it's just it can stem from the insecurity, and it can stem from just being traumatized, and it can just stem from childhood experiences, man, like people testing you and things along those lines. Because I wasn't necessarily insecure about my height and things like that. It was just a fact people tested. Like when I played sports, I always held my own. Like I never, you know what I'm saying? I never was like, dang, man, I wish I was tall. Like I never had that feeling, but it was just like people just look at you and they about to think a certain type of thing simply because you short, simply because you small. And it was like, all right, you can think that, but you know what I'm saying? It's not that. Jeff, peace, what's the word? Okay, cool, peace, what's happening, man? I'm Trying to tap into some of the comments here. Tap in and see what y'all talking about. Emmanuel, peace. What's happening? Working. And yeah, you say suppressing self gets very exhausting. I'm sort of lost with how to deal with people. See, I'm gonna just stop right there. Well, I'm gonna finish it off. Being too real and so honest has only seemed to make things worse. That's the thing. See, that is the thing. This is how you deal with people. See, this is where the art of detachment comes from. We think like being too honest and being too real and so honest has only seemed to make things worse. No, they seem to make things worse for the people or the person that you were honest with, the person that you were real with. If you spoke truth to power, it didn't make things worse for you. Just because another person can't handle the truth don't mean that it made things worse. That's not what it means. So if you chopping it up with a person, if you dealing with a loved one and you dealing with a friend and you spoke truth to power and they didn't receive it well and they got angry, that don't mean that it made things worse. That just means that they can't handle the truth. And that's their problem. It's not your problem. You said how you truly feel. You was honest. You told your truth. You spoke your piece. You can't control how people respond. So I don't care how a person responds when I speak the truth to them. If I'm honest with them, if I'm real with them, if I spoke my piece and my truth, I don't care how they receive it. All I care about is me being honest with them, being honest with myself, being truthful to them, being truthful to myself. Once I get it off my chest in an honest way, in an honest, respectable way, however it comes off, once I get it off my chest in that manner, I don't care how they receive it. And that's how you deal with people. I don't care how anybody receives my truth. I'm going to speak my truth. You can either accept it or reject it. Either way, I'm going to speak my truth. I don't care how you feel. If you take that truth and you start crying, you get in your feelings, that's on you. You have a problem with the truth that I spoke, with the truth that I live. It's on you. Doesn't concern me. Spoke my truth. I'm honest. It only becomes a problem. The only time you make things worse is when you lie to yourself and lie to the person. But if you told the truth and they just can't handle it, it didn't make things worse for me. That made things better. That let me know that person cannot handle the truth. They got a lot of internal work that needs to be done. They can't handle constructive criticism, things along those lines. It's letting me know the truth about that person. But nah, it didn't make it worse. It didn't make it worse. I'll tell you for sure. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there, but I feel like just thinking helps me. Every time I just think and let everything process, there we go. You know, when I think and let things process, I'm mastering it. I'm mastering it. Working. And I don't know if I just answered it, but I just saw this other question when you said thoughts on how to stay detached with individuals you have to interact with for various purposes, mainly involving business. Like I said, remain honest, be truthful, but know and understand that you can't control how they respond. That's all detachment is. So if you got to interact with people, whether it be for business, whether it's for family, the only thing detachment is letting you know that if I speak the truth, if I'm honest, like I really can't control the outcome in regards to how the other person receives the information. That's all that detachment is telling you. So when you got to deal with people for business, be truthful, be honest, and then however they take it is how they take it. However they receive it is how they receive it. If you was truthful and honest to a person and it's involving business and they didn't take it the right way, guess what? It's going to be more business to be done outside of this person. We're going to have other chances to do business. Like, that's not the end of the road. But if I was truthful, if I was honest, like if I did everything I was supposed to do, if I said everything I was supposed to say, and I approached it correctly on my end, and they just didn't receive it well, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world, man. It's going to be plenty of other opportunities out here for me. So that's all detachment is telling you. I'm truthful. I made sure I was mindful in regards to my approach and the words that I was speaking. They just didn't receive it properly due to whatever reasons. It's not the end of the world. That's what detachment is telling you That's what detachment is teaching you. So don't attach yourself to these outcomes and these expectations. It's like, all right, I'm truthful. So a lot of times we think that simply because we were truthful, simply because we were honest, that people are supposed to receive it in a positive manner. See, that's an expectation. Just because you was honest and you was truthful doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be received properly all the time. So detachment is telling you to look at it like that. See, simply because I'm truthful and honest and I'm approaching it in a positive and peaceful manner doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be received in that same light. That's what detachment is telling you. That's what detachment is letting you know, man. Don't attach yourself to expectations and outcomes, no matter how you approach it. Because again, we dealing with people and we can't control people. And these people are going through a lot. So they could be having a bad day and you could be coming with the most peaceful approach. And simply because they having a bad day, that's overriding your peaceful approach. So it causes them to respond or receive it in a negative manner. And you didn't even come off as bashful or negative. But they receiving it in that manner due to the things that they are going through. Don't take it personal. It is what it is. There will be other opportunities. That's how you got to approach it. That's all detachment is about. Don't attach yourself to outcomes, expectations, all of that, because you cannot. Once you speak your piece, like, you cannot control how it's being received by other people. You can't. All you can do is present it the best way that's possible. That's all you can do. Tony, you say being passionate and having a short temper is what I struggle with. 100%. Definitely my problem. And a lot of times it's almost hard to distinguish between the two. So a lot of times, man, when I'm caught up in my passion, a lot of people think that is anger, and I have to let people know, no, this is not anger. This is me being passionate. So a lot of times it's hard for people to distinguish between the two that don't know me. So they may see me going off like the same way that I speak when I'm passionate is the same way I speak when I'm angry. So it's almost like it's confusing. So I definitely can relate to that, Tony, man. When I'm passionate about something, I'm speaking with the same intensity as if I was like angry. So it's almost like when I'm passionate, it looks like I'm angry, but I'm not. It's just I'm passionate. I mean what I'm saying. Like, I'm feeling what I'm saying. So a lot of times I'm real, like I'm real passionate in regards to certain subject matter, to the point where, like, I don't follow scripts. I don't sit here with note cards. Like, a lot of things that I'm talking about, a lot of things that I choose to talk about is strictly off of that passion. Strictly off of that passion. You may get to talking, you may start fumbling words, you may get so caught up in what you saying. Like, that's how I am. That's why I have taken speech classes and things like that, public speaking classes. And I was one of the ones, like, I never followed the script. I never went up there with a note card. I couldn't do it. Like, I just couldn't do it. I always allow that passion to take over, man. So that's why I was always did good when I did speeches on things that I resonated with, because I was never too good at following scripts, man. So I'm always want to deal with that passion, man. I'm real big on my passion, but a lot of people don't know how to distinguish the passion from the anger. So I definitely deal with that, man, to the point where I'm striving to, I don't want to say calm it down, but I'm striving to talk about the things that I'm passionate about in a more calm manner, so that people are able to distinguish the two, or so that I'm able to distinguish the two. But sometimes I may think I'm passionate, but I am angry. So, I've been working on something. I've been working on that. So I can relate to that, Tony, for sure. Jason, peace, what's happening? Clocks in vlogs, you say we got to be okay with someone not agreeing with our perspective. 100%. And then also, too, when you are unorthodox, like me, for example, it ain't even being okay with somebody not agreeing with my perspective, because I'm going into a conversation or a dialogue knowing that the person ain't going to agree with my perspective. So I'm already knowing beforehand that what I have to say and offer, I know that they not going fool with my perspective. So then I got to wrestle with, how do I go about this conversation? So I feel like it ain't even the problem with me. And I feel like this is the problem with a lot of people that have an unorthodox or untraditional viewpoint. We not necessarily concerned with somebody not agreeing with us, because we already know that people probably not going to agree with us. It's like, once we going into this dialogue, we enter in the dialogue and the conversation, trying to figure out how we about to convey these points to a person that we already know don't agree with it. Like, we trying to think about how this conversation is going to go, because we already know, all right, I'm gonna just use the jab, for example, because that's popular. You know, we already know, for the most part, the people that's not with the jab, we already know that 95% of the people we gonna talk to, they didn't either got it, they thinking about getting it, or they got family that got, like, are they fool with it, they pro that, they pro jab, and all that type of good stuff. So we know that. So it's like, when we having conversations, when that topic comes up and people involve us in the conversation, now we trying to figure out how we gonna go about it. Do I really let these people know how I feel about it? Do I sit this one out? See, that's the problem that I face, because I already know most people don't agree with what I'm about to say when I'm, you know what I'm saying, when I'm amongst crowds. So I'm wrestling with, should I let people know how I feel and spend all of this time explaining myself, or should I just sit this one out? Because when I speak my piece, those individuals are gonna get upset. They not gonna fool with the fact that I just said something that went against what they all said in this room. So that's more so the problem. And that's what I faced all the time. So that's why a lot of times when we talked about biting the tongue, that's why a lot of times I just sit back and I just will allow people, I will allow the dominant perspective. I will allow the dominant perspective to just reign supreme in the room, knowing good and well, like, I can add on in regards to the untraditional or unorthodox perspective that I have. I can add on to this conversation, but I don't feel like going against the majority. So that is something that I tend to wrestle with. It's like, do I sit this one out, or do I enter this discussion? But I know everybody that's in this room ain't gonna agree with what I'm saying. So now I'm gonna have to explain myself, and they probably still won't agree with what I'm saying. So do I waste my time? And that becomes the problem for me, and that becomes a problem for most people that have untraditional views. It's like when you in a black family and you not religious, and you got to go to the family function, and the conversation start getting religious, and you, like, you know what I'm saying, like, y'all, like, I ain't, y'all, come on now, how do I go about this situation? Do I jump in this conversation when they strive to involve me, or do I sit this one out? But then if I sit this one out and they keep saying all this stuff that I don't agree with, it's gonna eat me alive. But then if I enter this discussion or into this conversation, then it might lead to an argument, because they're not gonna agree with what I'm saying. They're gonna take it the wrong way and they're gonna get hot, although I mean no harm. So we be having to wrestle with that. Kurt, peace. You say, do you agree with, if you let someone get you angry, then that means they have control over you? I'm gonna say yes, but I'm more so focused on a lack of control that you have over yourself when you allow somebody to knock you off your square, more so them controlling you, if that makes any sense. When you allow somebody to knock you off your square, then that just shows that you have a lack of control. So I'm not focused on the person controlling you. That more so demonstrates the lack of control that you have over yourself. And that's what you need to focus on. You know what I'm saying? When you allow somebody to upset you and get you to the point where you're ready to kill somebody, that's a lack of control that you have that you need to deal with. Dean, peace. What's happening? Hey, get that shadow boxing in. Clocks in. You said Twitter is even more toxic. Man, I was on Twitter way back when Twitter was popping. I think it's still popping now, but I haven't been on Twitter in years, man. I tried to get back on it, and that lasted for about a few days. I just can't get with it, man. I can't get with all these platforms, man. YouTube is about the only one that makes sense to me, man. Instagram is cool. Like, I'm not no picture person. I'm not a picture person and whatnot, man. I barely be on that joint, man. But Instagram can be cool. But man, like, for the most part, man, I try to minimize these social media platforms, man. Like I said, if I wasn't in this business that I'm in, like, I would not really be on it. As far as like Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Working for sure. A lot of people don't understand that, man. When you just detox, you cleanse yourself from like negative. I remember I did that. I did that back in the day, man. I did that back in the day. I'm talking about some of my favorite artists. Like I wasn't listening to them because the music, like the message was just so negative. I was like, man, you know what? I ain't even finna listen to it. I ain't even finna listen to it. So I took a break from some of my favorite artists simply because the music was negative, man. I was just listening to like jazz and things along those lines, man. Affirmations and just music with a message. Like if it didn't have no real message behind it, like if it wasn't like political or things along those lines, man, I wasn't really rocking with it. So I remember when I did that, man, that took things to the next level for you, man. Just having the control and the discipline to not listen to some music that I grew up on, that some of my favorite artists, I wasn't listening to their music and their songs because I was like, man, it's just too negative right now. What I'm saying, the vibe of this music, the frequency of the music is a little low, and I ain't trying to be on that right now. Like that was a powerful moment. Antoinette Peach Queen, what's happening? My boy Antonio say most having control of the lower self, yet the actions of the lower self is the manifestation of your higher self. And yeah, with that too, because I always keep it a buck and say it's all the same self. So at the end of the day, man, we just gotta master self. Like that's at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. Whether we call it higher higher self, lower self, positive self, negative self, it all is that same self that we striving to master. So we just gotta master self and everything that comes with self. We gotta understand that we are in control. Like that's what we gotta do. Like that's literally what we gotta do, man. It's all that same self. And we gotta strive to master that same exact self. Deja Peach Queen, what's happening? What's happening? Jason, man, listen, I swear, man, I've been itching to get back into a studio or something along those lines, man. I've been itching to do it. I feel like I got a lot to get off of my chest in regards to that department. Walker, man, most definitely. And that's why I say, especially as black men, we really got to do a better job. Like when we get angry and we lose it, it can all be over in a blink of a second, man. It can a blink of an eye. Like it don't take much. Like black men, we really got to control our anger. Like if we lose it, like we going down. We going down. So we really gotta master that anger. Burberry, you say what can help me get rid of my internalized hatred for my own people? You said so the internalized hatred that you have for your own people. First, you gotta always get to the source. You gotta always get to the source. Why do you feel that way? And you're not gonna. I don't expect you to answer this overnight. See, you gonna get what happens is we too quick to respond. So like if I initially ask you, why do you have this internalized hatred for your own people? You're gonna instantly come up with a response. No. When y'all have been in a situation where somebody asks you something, you say, I'm gonna sleep on it. See, that's what we gotta start doing that more. That's how you get to the source. So you gotta ask yourself, why do I have this internalized hatred for my own people? And don't strive to answer it. Just keep asking yourself the question. See, what you're doing is now you tapping into the subconscious. That's when you really start activating the source. That's when you really start getting to the bottom of these situations. So you got to get to the source, and the way to get to the source is to ask questions. The subconscious mind is going to supply you with the answers via signs, symbols, experiences, things along those lines. So ask yourself the question, but don't try to focus too hard on coming up with an answer. See, that's how you got to do it. Just keep asking yourself, man, why do I have this internalized hatred for my own people? Why? Why do I have it? Keep asking yourself that question. You're going to come up with an answer, and that answer is going to be the source. So then when you get to that source, then you deal with that situation according to the source. So whatever the reason is, which is the source, then you deal with it from that. So you either learn to embrace, like whatever the source is. Once you get to the bottom of that source, then you should be able to resolve that conflict, because now you can remove the source. You can remove the source. But a lot of times we have these issues and we can't get rid of these issues because we don't even know where it stems from. We don't know why we feel this way. We just know we do. So you got to get to that source. Once you get to the source, then you're able to kill the problem, because you're able to disconnect the source. You're able to eliminate the source. You're able to resolve the issue at the level of the source. So you just got to ask yourself, why do you feel the way that you feel? And sleep. Don't work too hard to try to figure out an answer. That answer gonna come to you, man. It's gonna activate. It's gonna give you the signs, and you just gotta learn how to decipher the clues. And it ain't gonna be too hard to decipher the clues once you start asking your questions, man. You're gonna start having dreams. It's gonna be things that just line up for you. Like it's gonna be like just things that seem ironic and like what a coincidence. Those type of things are gonna start lining up for you, and those are the signs. The subconscious mind is telling you, see, this is happening for you to connect this dot, because it's gonna help you answer this question and get to the bottom of your issue, and then you able to resolve that. Shoot a K off for sure. Working for sure, 100%. B Bishop, peace, appreciate the donation. Oh, you already know I'm always down to collab. For sure. Sharif, man, peace. What's happening? What's the word? Ruben, peace. What's the word? Oh, working. Yeah. The people. Yeah, you say trying to get peers and those around you to not take things personally was my problem. I guess the solution is to just let it go and learn on it. Yeah, for sure. Because you can't get the people around you to not take things personally. You can't do it because you can't control them. You can't control it, so that's why you can't do it. That's why you can't do it, because you cannot control them. So I mean, that's simple. That's simple right there. You can't control them. Man, they're gonna respond how they want to respond. Oh, Jason, for sure. You always win some, you lose some, man. Always. Oh, nice, yeah, for sure. And again, we are our own worst critic. So we're gonna be harder on ourselves than anybody else. At least that's how it almost should be. That's how it should play out. But it's like I've learned to just stop doing that, man. I've learned to stop doing that. I've learned to stop doing that, man, because that don't tend to work out well for you, man. It's like just again, man, like if you're striving to attain something out of life, there's a formula. And once you acquire the formula and you put things into motion, it's gonna be ups and downs, trials and tribulations. You're gonna make some errors and things along those lines, man. Just embrace the errors and keep it pushing. That's what I learned. I just embrace the mistakes, embrace the errors, and keep it pushing. Learn from them. All right, I did this, that didn't turn out too well. All right, I ain't doing it next time. Keep it moving. Like I don't dwell on these things. Like I don't dwell on the mistakes and the errors for too long. Because the longer you sit and think about it, it grows. You know, like I said, what you focus on grows. So if I keep thinking about this error, like it's gonna grow and I'm gonna commit more errors. If I keep thinking about the mistake, it's gonna grow and I'm gonna commit more mistakes. I ain't got time for it. It's like, all right, boom, I did that, it didn't work. Let me not do that again. I'm gonna continue pushing. Oh, then yeah, for sure. Yeah, they bringing the fight, then we ain't got nothing to discuss because we not coming. We're not trying to come with that type of energy. Real supreme, peace, G. Yeah, you say pick your battles wisely, always, because it's a time and a place for war. But see, a lot of times, we not gonna be ready for the real war because we wasting all our energy fighting these unnecessary battles. So when it's actually time to go to war, we gonna be all warred out here, man. We gonna be depleted, gonna be done. We ain't gonna have no energy left. We ain't gonna have no fight left because we fighting all these unnecessary battles. Dominique, for sure, man. You gotta watch, and that includes yourself. Think about that, Jude. That includes yourself. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with one easily angered. That includes yourself. Consul, peace. G, appreciate you tapping in. Nero, peace. What's the word? Yeah, Dominique, man. I'm gonna get y'all when I stop procrastinating. But Jeff, yeah, when we spaz out, man, as black men, we spaz out, and it can get dangerous. Like it can get dangerous, man. Like it can get dangerous, man. So we gotta chill, man. We gotta we gotta chill. It can get dangerous. A lot of times we don't know and understand how strong we are and all that good stuff, man. It can get dangerous. It can get dangerous. So we gotta master that energy. We gotta master these feelings and emotions, man, because things can get real dangerous when we lose it. Yeah, Joshua, very draining. Going back and forth is very draining and unnecessary, man. So a lot of times, as men, as men too, we gotta learn to just get up, walk away. Once you realize this conversation ain't going nowhere, and you feel yourself getting angry, walk away. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the people are in your presence, man. It's better for you to be angry and not in the presence of people than angry and in the presence of people. So walk away. If that's what it takes for you to not cause any harm, not do any damage, do that. If somebody call you soft, say you run away from, listen, say it's better that I not be here while I'm angry than to be in the presence of somebody that is that is just activating his anger. So it's like sometimes, man, just learn to take the high road. Like, all right, man, I'm gonna walk out until you calm down, until I calm down. But us in this room going back and forth, like it's not gonna work. It's not gonna end well. So I'm gonna just leave, and I'm gonna allow myself to cool down. I'm give you time yourself to cool down, so we can think about what's really going on here. But stand in the same room as the person, stand in the same vicinity as the person, that can backfire, especially when everybody is hot. Somebody gonna have to walk away from that situation before things take a turn for the worse. Mystical harmonizer, peace. What's happening? So that's one way to just control the energy. Walk away. Like when you walk away, like people want to call that soft. People want to call that whatever they want to call it. But that right there is power. That's control. When you going back and forth with a person, you say, you know what, I'm done, I'm gone. You controlling the atmosphere because you walked away. So now they ain't got nobody to be mad at because you left. You left. You like, man, you know what? I ain't gonna keep entertaining this. I left. So I'm leaving. So when you leave, now you have just automatically by default shut that person up because now they don't have anybody else to go back and forth with. So that's control. That's control. You're not feeding them anymore because you walked away, you've left. You're not talking to them. Like you automatically gave that person time to think about what they just said. Think about what you said. Think about it all. You automatic, like that's control. That's power. Like that's literally what that is. That's control and power. Lolita, you say words or spells. It's so easy to hex someone just with words. Hey, for sure. That's why I say be mindful. The man of God, peace, peace, what's happening. Yeah, for sure. Not only hex someone else, but hex yourself. A lot of us are in negative circumstances and situations because we keep casting these spells on ourselves. And we wonder why we can't get up out of a certain situation because look at the words you speak every morning. You wake up every morning angry and frustrated, and you wonder why your situation is not changing. Like that's on you. You have casted that spell upon yourself. So you literally creating your own destructive reality based off of the words that you speaking about yourself and your situation and the thoughts that you thinking about your situation and yourself. So a lot of times we cause this destruction upon ourselves and then we sit and complain about it and we want to hold everybody else responsible for our condition and lack of opportunities. Meanwhile, we keep speaking that upon ourselves, man. Every morning that you wake up hating what you do, like that hatred is gonna grow. And when that hatred grows, you are going to continue to manifest that type of energy. So you just going to manifest more reasons to hate what you do. You're going to manifest more reasons to hate a lot of things outside of what it is that you're doing. You're just going to manifest more hateful energy. And that is going to cause your health to decline. So you got to find a way to view things in a better light, because you don't want to keep waking up with that hateful energy. If you're doing something that's causing you to wake up with that energy, you got to find something else to do that's not causing you to wake up like that, because that is destroying you. And that's going to continue to present you with situations that reflect that energy, man. That's why I had to get out of the situation I was in, because I was waking up, not fooling with what I was doing. And it just made me mad every time I woke up. It was like, dude, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here, man. This is not a pleasant situation. I'm not happy. And I was able to admit that. But the only way to change it is to get out of the situation. So I got out of the situation. Where there's a will, there's a way. So we got to stop acting like we stuck in these situations. You're not stuck with that job, man. I don't care what you believe. Contrary to what you may think, you're not stuck on that job that you hate. You're not stuck on it. There are other avenues out here. There are other lanes that you can drive in. So you're not stuck on that job, man. You don't have to put up with that nonsense that you're putting up with. That job is making you mad. You're not stuck there. Contrary to what you may think and believe. I got bills. Ain't nobody telling you to be homeless. Ain't nobody telling you to not make money. But you're not stuck on that job, though. If you really want to get out of a situation, you're going to find a way to get yourself out of the situation. You don't want to starve. So you're going to find a way to get yourself out of that situation and earn a living doing so. But a lot of people just stuck on complaining. They just like to complain. They just want people to feel sorry for them. They don't really want to actually change their condition. They don't really think that they had a power to do that, you know? But we had a power, man. So if you don't like what it is that you're doing every morning, you had the power to change that. Nobody's putting a gun in your head telling you this is what you must do to pay your bills. It's what you're choosing to do. So you're choosing to be unhappy. That's a choice, man. That's a choice, because you can literally change that. It's 2021. There's too many ways to go about earning a righteous living out here without you having to put up with the nonsense. It's too many ways, man. It's too many ways, too many lanes, too many avenues. So you don't have to choose that type of reality, man. You don't have to choose it at all. At all. And I just want to throw it out there. I just want to let y'all know that you don't have to choose that reality. You do not have to continue to choose that reality. You do not even have to continue to accept that reality. You can change it. You can change it. Because I know for a fact a lot of people are upset. A lot of people deal with depression because of their job situation. And that can easily be changed by shifting the paradigm, by shifting the mentality. Simple. Simple. So stop basking in that negativity, man. Stop basking in that destructive mindset, that chaotic mindset, and just shift the paradigm, man. Shift your mindset, shift your mentality. And that's when you will start to see your situation and your circumstance change for the better. That's when you will start to evolve. When you embrace an evolution mindset, an evolution mentality, an evolutionary mindset, an evolutionary mentality, that's when things will start to improve for you. Literally. But y'all, man, with that being said, man, I did my time for the day, man. The wife is in the building. She entered the chat. Y'all say peace to the wife before I exit this joint. I'm about to go ahead and tap out for the day, man. I appreciate y'all, man, just giving me an hour, 20 minutes of your time, man, just to listen to the vent. Hopefully, y'all took some jewels from what was said today. If not, oh well. Y'all gonna catch some jewels in one of my next videos, whatever the case may be. Y'all gonna catch some jewels eventually from what I'm saying. But hopefully y'all took some wisdom, some jewels away from what I'm saying, some practical solutions so that y'all can implement them and then improve y'all situation. Hopefully that's something that y'all took away from this, because that's what I was striving to do. So hopefully, man, y'all get a better grip on the depression, on the negativity, on the toxic mindset, on all of that, man. Just get a grip on that mental health based on some of the things that was discussed in this particular stream. Hopefully that happens for you all. Hopefully we can resolve all these unresolved conflicts internally. So that's what I was striving to accomplish with this stream today, man. So hopefully y'all take the best parts from this stream, apply them to self, and continue to improve, evolve, and elevate. But I'm out, man. I gotta head to this gym. Y'all already know what time it is for me. Gotta torture these clients. So y'all be easy. You know what I'm saying? Eat y'all some healthy foods, get y'all some rest, drink the water, meditate, do some reading, all that good stuff, man. Affirmations. Y'all be easy, be peaceful, be positive and powerful. I'm out though. Peace.